Hi, it's Andy, the Expedition Hiker. So today I'm going to talk about what I pack in my rucksack when I go out on a day hike. So the first thing I need to take with me is knowledge. So a few skills and experience will help you a long way. So there's no point in carrying all this equipment if you don't know how to use it. If you get into a problem or a situation, how do you deal with it? It's a point of adapt and overcome. It was a term I learnt in the army. Think about your surroundings. If you get into a situation, how can you adapt to overcome the situation and be better off? Obviously that is by carrying a few essential pieces of equipment, which we're going to go through. The thing is, at the end of the day, you can go out in the hills or you can go up onto lower level. So the equipment you're going to carry is slightly different for different environments. Also, different weathers, different times of year you go out, you're going to have different type of equipment. But we're going to talk about generally what I usually carry in my rucksack when I'm going out on a normal day hike. Now that might be a little bit low level or mountainous. I will talk about a couple of items that I do take when I'm up in for remote places. So the thing is that the first thing I need to do is the clothing I'm wearing. So I don't want to be wearing anything that's cotton. I'm going to be wearing jeans because they get cold, wet if it rains, and they get heavy and they're very uncomfortable. Again, with maybe a cotton t-shirt, if you sweat, the sweat will stay on you and create cold spots, and then again becomes uncomfortable. So what you want to do is a layering system. So what you want to be looking at is wicking. So wicking means that it draws the moisture away from the body and dries out fast. So first of all, I'm going to talk about a base layer. So if I've got a base layer t-shirt, this is synthetic, this is wicking, and it will dry very fast. Then what I'm going to do is wear a mid base layer. This is long sleeve. Okay, it's basically the same purpose as this one, but it's just another thin layer. As I say, it's got longer sleeves. Now on top of that, you may take either a fleece or down jacket. This is what we call the mid layer. And so this is a down jacket. Now the good thing about down jackets is they keep you warm and they're very lightweight and they compact quite well. The bad thing is if it gets wet, it loses its loft and loses its warmth. So this is only good if it stays dry. Now there are items out there now that have been treated. Essentially you need to keep down dry. Alternatively, you could go for a lightweight fleece. I would say down jacket is probably the best way to go, but if you're starting out, probably just a fleece would do. Your next layer would be your outer layer, but before that I'm just going to talk about trousers as well. So again, with trousers, these are from Decathlon, and these were only about, I think they were £10. They may have been in a sale, but they are £10. They're actually zip off, so they can become shorts. They dry incredibly fast. I've been out in a downpour and about half an hour later they were quite dry. As I say, easy to dry, lightweight, and they feel very comfortable when I'm walking. Sometimes I actually feel like I'm not wearing trousers at all, but I know I am. So that's my trousers. So I'm talking about my outer layers now. So I'm looking about waterproof or a wind jacket. Now a wind jacket, it'll keep the wind out. Now there are items, I use this as a wind jacket and a waterproof jacket. Now this is a waterproof jacket for probably a wet summer's day. Possibly I could wear this one from spring to autumn. It's not fully waterproof. It's what you call a hydro shell or hydro dry. But it is a good windproof jacket. It's quite a lightweight jacket and easy enough to put in a rucksack. If I'm going in the summer though, I would take a jacket like this. This is very lightweight, quite old now, it needs replacing actually. It packs away next to nothing. It's more of a water resistant jacket. I wouldn't go out in torrential rain with this, but if I'm going out for, I know it's going to be like a quick shower, then I would know that this jacket is going to keep me dry. Now, with my jacket, I also need waterproof trousers. Again, these are lightweight, so it's got a drawstring waist, and the reason why I have that is that I find sometimes if you take your rucksack off you and you bend down or anything else, waterproof trousers start to pull down on you, and which start to pull everything down. Fortunately, it hasn't gone down too far, but drawstring I find holds that in place. In winter, I'm going to wear a stronger, thicker pair of waterproof trousers, Gore-Tex. These are more water resistant. So that's my waterproofs. Now in winter months I would probably take my gaiters. Here's some I prepared earlier. These are Gore-Tex if I'm walking through gullies, wet moorland, any wet conditions, puddles and heavy rain in the winter. Gaiters are great. Now they do come in different sizes. I prefer the full length ones. They do come in like a mid one, an ankle one. These obviously are waterproof, but they stop any dirt or stones getting into my shoes. In the winter months, these are essential. Summer months, a low level, not so much. So now I've covered my obviously outer layer and my main part of my body. So I also need to take is even in the summer months, if it gets a bit cooler or you go out early, then maybe a hat and gloves. So in the summer, I take a set of liner gloves. They're very thin and they pack away to next to nothing. I also take a buff. And a buff can be used for several things. Multiple uses, and the other thing is that if you're out camping and your tent is a bit wet in the morning, you can dab it down, keep it dry, and then just hang it on the outside of your rucksack and they're dry. Now the other thing is in the summer I'm going to take a different type of protection. So I've got a fold up hat, it's a baseball cap, again lightweight. I use this when it's raining as well. As well as that, I will take a set of sunglasses to keep the sun away from my eyes. So that is basically all my clothing layers I'm going to take. My next thing that really I need to look at is my first aid kit. Most people, they'll build their own first aid kit how they want. As long as you take the essentials. Some people prefer different types of blister relief. There's padded plasters, there's compeed tape as well, and there's also moleskin. I prefer moleskin, so each their own. But if you're going out further and you're going overnight and else, then you may take a few extra things in it. I won't go through it now, we'll talk about it in another video coming soon. And also with your first aid kit, you've got to remember how to use it. Do a course. I will be bringing out an outdoor first aid in another video. Okay, so that's my first aid kit, and I also have a few survival items in there as well. As I said, we'll go through that another day. Obviously, first thing is I need a rucksack to carry it all in. So this is what this is a 25 litre rucksack. Now if you're going out for a day walk, I would suggest go for between a 20 to 30 litre rucksack. So as I say, it's 25. I prefer these type of rucksacks because we've got what they call an airflow system. So there's a gap between my back and the back of the rucksack, and that way I won't get sweaty on my back. Also the way that it sits on my back is more comfortable as well. If you're going out further, going up the mountains or going overnight, then you're going to need a larger bag because you're going to be carrying more equipment. But this rucksack, it's got a single compartment, it's got two side pockets, it's got a inside secure pocket and then an external hooded pocket. And it's also got these two mesh pockets either side where you can put your water bottles or anything you just want to get to at a quick moment. Even sometimes I might even put my waterproof jacket in here. It is always useful to have a couple of carabiners, and they weigh next to nothing. Generally rucksacks are more water resistant rather than waterproof. So most of the newer rucksacks will have a rain cover. Now this one has one underneath in a pocket and it's attached to the rucksack, and that makes my rucksack waterproof, not water resistant. But on top of that, I always keep everything in my rucksack in polythene bags, or what we use is dry bags. So we've got dry bags here. Now a dry bag is a little bit better than other types of polythene bag because with these you can push the air out, and if you were staying overnight you can use it as a pillow. You put your clothing in here and sleep on this. Okay, now again, it is what it says, it is a dry bag, keeps your stuff dry. So what you do is you put your items in. So if I put my down jacket in here, then I can push it down and I can push all the air out of the bag, roll it up a couple of times, clip it, and then it's going to take less space in my rucksack. And the other thing is what I do is I have different coloured bags. Having different colours, it colour coordinates it. You know, orange bag has my food in, my black bag has my waterproofs in. Dry bags is for those people really getting into it. But beforehand, I would go with plastic bags. What do you call it? Bag for life. But as you can see, they're all different colours. So it's exactly the same purpose as for my dry bags being different colours. So these are a cheaper alternative. I would go with these ones rather than just like the 5p polythene bags. These ones are obviously going to last a little bit longer as where you are. So if you're in an area that's got no network, so a map and compass, essential piece of equipment when you're out on the hills or wherever you are walking, you need to be able to navigate. Now don't just go out into the countryside and think, right, we're just going for a walk. Have an idea before you go whereabouts you're going. Also maybe check the weather forecast before you go. That way I know if I'm going to take my lightweight waterproof jacket or a heavier one that's going to protect me a little bit more. I use two different types of weather forecasting system. So I use a website called Mountain Weather Information Service, and they will give you for the national parks, so Lake District, Scotland, Peak District, Yorkshire Moors and everything else, and they will give you a forecast for that area, or maybe higher ground. Then I would use something like the BBC Weather Service or the Met Office Weather Service. They will give you the weather forecast for lower levels. And also one other thing, when you go out on a walk, always tell somebody where you're going, what time you're aiming to get back. In case something happens, an emergency, an accident, bad weather, or you get lost, do you finish your walk, get home, remember to tell them, because otherwise they're going to worry and think that, oh, he's still out on the mountains, or she's still out on the mountain. It's just a bit of safety. But go on with map reading on a different video, hopefully in the next few weeks. Okay, so that's navigation. So the next thing I would be taking is my head torch. Now I would take a head torch in the summer, winter, any time of the year. And the reasons why I'm going to take this is because I may end up walking a bit later than I thought. I might have got lost, I might get into heavy fog that I may need the torch. I may be walking along and find a cave. I think, oh, I'll have a look in that, then I'll need my torch. So a small piece of equipment, but packs a big punch when you need it. So I always pack a head torch. I'm going to take spare polythene bags with me. When I'm having my lunch, my litter for my lunch, I will put that in there. And also if a bag splits and you need it's for your central equipment, like your electrics, then obviously take a spare couple of bags. They weigh next to nothing, so they're easy to just pack in the bottom of your rucksack just in case you need them. So next thing I would be taking is my food. What food I'm looking for is protein, fats and carbohydrates. It needs to be a mix of that, because I know throughout the day I'm going to burn those calories off. So think about the food you take with you, but also think, is this food that I like? Don't take something you've never eaten before, because you get out there and then you might get stomach cramps, and that's going to make your walk unpleasant. So that's food. Also take extra food than what you would think you need in the day, in case there's an emergency. Okay, on top of that, I've got my bag of extras. Now in here, I have some tissues in there. I've got some, I think they're called zip ties, I'm not sure. So, and next I've got a spare pair of bootlaces, in case my bootlaces snapped along the way. I've got a small tube of sun cream. I've got a multi-tool, which has got a knife, set of pliers, just a little compact one. Generally I'm not going to use it, but it's just there in case. I've got some sting and insect bite relief cream, always useful to carry with you. A chapstick, obviously for your lips get dry when you're out walking. A spare battery for my action cam, and the last thing in there is some Vaseline. Vaseline I can use again for my lips. I can also use it on my feet if I'm starting to feel like I've got a blister or hot spot is coming, or if I'm getting some chaffing under my armpits or somewhere, then I can just rub some Vaseline on there as well. So it's got multiple uses. So don't take the whole pot with you, just put it small in these, and always useful to take one with you. So that's my little extra essentials bag. Generally I don't use any of them, but it's just I know they're there if I need them. Now the other thing I do is I call it my bod kit. You might call it your potty kit or your toilet relief kit. So in here I have Usually I have a spare polythene bag in there. I haven't got it at the moment. I've got some hand sanitizer to wipe my hands after I've done my little bit of relieving myself. I've got some tissues, and I've also got a, this is a titanium trowel, so a lightweight trowel. I'll dig a little hole about 6 inches deep, do my business, and then fill it back in. Now what I'm going to do, the spare polythene bag, my dirty, if I've got any tissues I've used, then I would put that in the spare polythene bag. I won't leave it out on the countryside. Winds is going to blow it across the landscape. It's not good for country code. Okay, not good for the environment either. So that's my little toilet kit, so to speak. My phone. My phone I find is quite useful. Now obviously it's there to ring people. It's also got apps on it, so like a GPS app, or it's got a digital compass, so you can take photos of it as well. But they're only as good as where you are. So if you're in an area that's got no network and you want to use your GPS system on it, then it's going to be no good. Okay, so I've taken my phone. The next thing I'll take with me is a battery pack. My phone is only as good as if it's got power. So I'll take a spare battery pack with me. And also I've got to remember is to take the lead that charges my phone. Well, there's no point in taking the battery pack and no lead. And the other thing is, it's an electrical item, so I pack it in a polythene bag, keep it dry and waterproof. Now the last couple of things I need to take with me, I'll take my wallet. Wallet's got a couple of things. Obviously your money, so take some money with you if you go past a cafe or an ice cream van or something else, or a cup of tea or whatever else. The other thing is, I carry it because it's got identity in it. So if I ended up being in an accident or emergency, nobody knows who I am out on the hills. If I'm out by myself, then somebody could look in my wallet and see who I am. And I carry a card with my next of kin, who I am, my name and where I live. Now one of the other things I would take with me, especially if I'm up in the mountains, is a survival shelter. Now this is a lightweight tarp. Okay, with that I also take a couple of lightweight pegs, tent pegs, and some paracord. Now again, generally I'm not going to use this, but just in case I get into an emergency, it's always there. If it's in the mountains, more chance I'm going to carry it. Alternatively, I'll have a survival bag. Now a survival bag is what it says. It is a big orange plastic bag. It's about 7 feet tall. It goes around 3 foot wide. Now there's 3 ways you can use it. One, you could cut it open and make it into like a top. Second way is like just climb into it like a sleeping bag. Or the third way is actually turn it upside down. The closed part of the survival bag is at the top, and then just cut a hole out so you can see out there, and also it's ventilation, so you're not going to suffocate inside this plastic bag. I've had this bag about 10 years and it's still in its sealed bag. Never needed it, but always carry it, especially on the mountains. So I would either take a tarp or take a survival bag, or the third thing you might take is a bothy, a portable bothy. If you get into, say, a snowstorm or something like that, or fog comes down, or you get lost, or some problem occurs, then you get in your little bothy. Although it's not one for sleeping in, because usually you sit up inside a bothy rather than lie down. Okay, so that's basically all the equipment I need to take. The one thing I haven't spoken about is water bottles. So you've got choices of water bottles. You can go for a metal one that's recyclable. It generally keeps my cold drinks colder for longer, and it also keeps, if I put a warm drink in it, it won't last like a thermos, but it will keep it warm for maybe 2 or 3 hours. Alternatively to that, you can go with a thermos. So you've got a thermos flask here, like in the winter, nice cup of tea, keeps you warm. Especially if you're stopping for a break, it's quite easily to get cold quite fast. So a hot drink inside you keeps your body cool, keep warm for longer. The other alternatives are a smart water bottle. Now, if you prefer a plastic bottle rather than a metal bottle, I mean, obviously this is better for the environment and the planet. Smart water bottles, obviously, they have all those electrolytes in them at first, and then you can just use it as a refill bottle. Now they do come in 2 sizes generally. This is the 600ml, I think there's an 850ml. Now the things for these is that they have generally water bottles have 2 different caps. They have a flat cap, or they have these type which pull off like that. I prefer these ones because I don't want to take a cap off and then I drop the cap and then it gets muddy, wet, dirty. With this, all I've got to do is lift the lid, drink, close the lid, and that's it, done. And the one other type of water system we could have is a water bladder. So that is basically everything that I would be putting in my rucksack. But also with my rucksack, I'm going to take some poles. Some people like walking with poles, some people don't like walking with poles. Some will walk with one, some will walk with two. Some people like different features of the poles. You can have cork grips. These are multi-grip as well, so you've got a grip here and you also grip here. I find these are better when it's raining. They don't make my hands sweat. I don't need to wear gloves when walking with them. Obviously they're good for going uphill, good for going downhill, and they're also good for when you are walking. It keeps a good pace, so you can actually walk further using the poles, and it's good for posture as well. Now, one of the things I do with my poles is I have a piece of tape around it, and this tape, duct tape. So it's a waterproof tape. Rather than taking the whole roll of duct tape with me, just wrap it around my pole. So on both of them, and duct tape you can use for all sorts. If you rip your waterproof jacket, you've got a hole in your boot, you've got a hole in your tent, whatever, you can use it. The other thing is if you needed to make a fire, you've got fire steel with you or something like that, you need to get some tinder, you can rip it off into thin strips, and it's flammable as well. So basically, that is all the equipment I would take on a day hike. So what I'm going to just go through now is how I pack my rucksack. When I'm packing my rucksack, obviously I need a rucksack. So I've got my rucksack, my day pack. So the first thing I need to do is put the things in I'm generally not going to use throughout the day. So the first thing that's going to go in there is my top. Put it right at the bottom, pack it away like that. Okay. Next thing is my warm clothing. So I've got my down jacket in here. I've got my hat and gloves, and I've got my spare walking socks. So I didn't say before, but I always take a spare pair of walking socks because I'm walking all day. If my feet get wet, then it can make your walking trip uncomfortable. So I always change into a clean pair of dry socks. It reduces any chance of getting blisters as well. So all I do is close it down, and I'm going to put it in the bottom of my bag. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is put my bob kit, because generally I'm not going to need it, it's just there in case. Put it right at the back. I'm pushing it in the bottom to all the voids, so there's no empty spaces in my rucksack. Next thing is my bag of essentials. Generally don't need it throughout the day, it's just there in case. I may take the sun cream out if it's a warm day and put it close to the top of my rucksack, but generally I would put this low in part of my rucksack. So that's in there now. So my next thing I'm going to do is pack my food. I put the food in a waterproof bag. Now generally I would have more in there because I would have my lunch and everything else. And I put that in my bag. Okay. Next thing is my waterproofs. Now some people say put your food before your waterproofs, or other people say put your waterproofs in before your food. Now your snacks I would put in my side pockets. My waterproofs, there's more chance that I might need them throughout the day. Even if it's a day that no rain is expected, it might get a bit colder, so you might think, oh, put my waterproof jacket on to keep me warm. So I'm going to put my waterproofs on top. So I'm going to put my waterproof trousers first, and then my waterproof jacket on towards the top. Okay, so that is the majority of the main things on my bag. The next thing is I'm going to get my battery pack. In the top part of my rucksack, I have a skewer pocket on the inside. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put my head torch in the skewer part as well, and then I'm going to put my wallet and my phone in there as well. So that's all secure away. Now you can see we haven't got much to put in there. My first aid kit goes in the side pocket. I put it in the same way all the time. And the reason why is because I know where it all is in case I need it. So I know my first aid kit's there. So the next thing I've got is I can close the main compartment of my rucksack now. Okay, so that's nice and secure. I've got my sunglasses and sun hat. I just put in the top part now. Okay, now I'm actually at a point I can actually put my rucksack on. So then my water bottle I connect to my carabiner. So that's on there. Again, as I said before, hands-free. My map and compass, it's in the polythene bag. Now, as I said before, it has that gap in the rucksack between my back and the actual rucksack because it's got that airflow system. So what I always do is I put my map and compass down there, I push it down, and I've never lost my map before by doing that. So all I need now is my poles, and I'm ready to go on my walk. So hopefully I've shown you a few things on how to pack your rucksack and what things to take. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe. If you would like to put the thumbs up, a like, that'd be great. Add a comment, and please share with anybody. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. So until then, keep safe, look after yourselves, and bye-bye hikers!